Alrighty, hello and welcome everybody. Happy Valentine's Day if you're watching this today. As of recording, it's Valentine's, but I wanted to get some thoughts out on 18 land Stampede Dinos. List, as always, is in the description. Definitely join the Discord. The link to that is back in the description as well. It wasn't for a little while there, but it is there. This is Gruul Dinos, though. Ghalta, Stampede Tyrant in Explorer, or you could play it in Pioneer. I will be doing that in paper once I get some time, or Magic the Gathering online as well. But Arena certainly is quite a bit more enjoyable to watch, so that's definitely why I'm sticking with it. Explorer is pretty close to Pioneer, but 18 lands, how could that possibly be okay? How could that possibly be legitimate, you might be asking? For a lot of you, you've witnessed it and you've tried it. What is accomplished by 18? Well, you get a little bit more space for a lot more good stuff. And I certainly want that. And I flood out quite a bit, even with 20. 22, definitely with 22. I would never go higher than 22, that's for sure. But how do you consistently get there? Sunken Citadel, Castle Garenbrig, 2 other lands, and I can make 6 green. Sylvan Scrying. For 1 and a green, I search for a land, any land. If I already see a sunken, I search for a castle. If I see a Castle Garenbrig, I search for a sunken. And that's quite consistent as well. But then also Commune with Dinosaurs, I could be playing that on turn 2. After Sunken Citadel enters on turn 1, Commune grabs the second land, which sets up for a Sylvan Scrying on turn 3. Which might grab Stomping Ground, something like that. But also the recently added, at least for myself, Nurturing Bristleback. It's a dinosaur. It costs 2 to cycle it, forest cycle it, so you can grab any land with the forest type. And it has been lovely stuff adding in Commercial District or some land with enter the battlefield effect. Really, that is pretty much just Commercial District though. Grabbing it, playing it as your land for the turn to surveil 1 to dig a little bit deeper. And you get to grab a land with both types. Not that I need too many sources of red, but just having that potential. I don't have to grab a forest, and certainly many opponents have Field of Ruin to ruin my chances. I might have played a forest, they might have destroyed a couple things. I might not have any forests to grab afterwards, unfortunately. So I love that. But Commune, Sylvan Scrying, or Nurturing Bristleback, that is 12 things that should be grabbing me a land. Commune, there is a very real possibility that it doesn't. We look at the top 5 cards, we can grab a dinosaur or a land, put it into our hand. Usually there's one land in the top 5. I pretty much consider it as grabbing a land if I need to. So 12 things, boom, we search for it. Usually with 18, you would expect to see at least 2 in every opening variation of hands. One hand, 7 cards, goes into 60, 8.5 times. So to see 1 land in every variation of hands, roughly, statistically speaking, it doesn't always happen. You would need 8.5 lands. But I want to see 2 roughly in every variation of hands. So 8.5 times 2, 17. And I have 18. So it's just a little bit more. There you go. Sometimes you see none. Sometimes you see 3. Sometimes you see 4 lands. Or you see 2 Sunken Citadels and a Castle Garenbrig, as I saw on tonight's stream with Hornet Queen. So with the efficiency of needing fewer lands, a specific combination to make a bunch of mana, 12 things to dig for lands, Blossoming Tortoise, which continues to be lovely, milling, hopefully milling a land, putting it onto the battlefield, reducing the activation of Castle Garenbrig, ramping further and better, sprinkling in something else for 2, along with Commune, Sylvan Scrying, and the potential forest cycling from Nurturing Bristleback. Probably is pretty good. Up the Beanstalk, well, It doesn't search for a land. It at least draws when it enters the battlefield. It gets closer to a land, guaranteed. It might not draw a land. It might be a land underneath the card that I draw, but at the very least, I'm closer. There it is. And I have so many creatures and spells that draw a card off it. Over a third of the deck usually has a mana value 5 or greater. So Up the Beanstalk continues to make sense. More sense than maybe any other deck that uses that particular card. But it's just about consistency. And it still seems consistent more often than not. And I reduce the chance of flooding. Maybe I'll go to 19 at some point. But tonight worked out fantastically. And I hate being flooded. It happens all too often. With 3 lands, 2 Sunkens and a castle, I make 6 green. By that point, I really don't want to see pretty much too many other lands. Maybe I just play a Blossoming Tortoise with those 3. I don't mill a land, but Blossoming Tortoise reduces Castle Garenbrig's activated potential. I'd still have to use both Sunken Citadels, but it has the very real possibility of just supercharging as well. It's like it ramps itself, plus Sylvan, plus Nurturing Bristleback, Commune. There's just so many things that make it happen, make it work. Don't dismiss it if you haven't tried it already. It does the trick. Consistent enough, and with 18, you got more space for more good things, like 4 Hornet Queens. Imagine I have a more common 22 lands. That still might seem crazy for some of you guys that are not familiar with Stampede Dinos. But I could have 4 more. I could sometimes be flooded. I would be flooded a lot. Would you rather have 4 Hornet Queens and still be able to get consistently to all of that? Would you rather have 4 lands and no Hornet Queens? At least for me, the case is pretty straightforward right there. I want 4 Hornet Queens. That was a game changer tonight. Continues to be. And lovely explosive potential. Hard for many opponents to deal with. Aggro still is a little bit rough, but wow, that's good. It is a sweet list. Sweeter than Valentine's Day? I don't know. All right. See you next time. Peace. Oh, don't forget to take a bite out of that like button.